Hi there, Wolt Chums. Before we get started with this episode, I wanted to share some exciting news. Earlier this year, I partnered with the team at Lose It to write a course called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Weight, a mindset-first approach to lasting weight loss. This is a premium course for Lose It, but now through the end of October, our friends at Lose It are offering this as a complimentary gift for our friends at Wolt Place. So if you were thinking about joining Wolt Place, We Only Look Thin Place, our Facebook-based accountability group for women, this is the perfect time to do so. Again, now through the end of October, new and existing members of Wolt Place will be receiving this as a complimentary gift. So head over to weonlylookthin.com, click on that link for join our support group, sign up, and you will qualify for this amazing offer. I'm so proud of the work I did on this. I want to thank the team at Lose It, Sarah and Hannah, for including me in this project. And now we will get on with the show. Thanks for listening. Hello, and welcome to another origami-shaped episode of We Only Look Thin. I am Katherine Weigel. I am one of your hosts. I have lost over 120 pounds.
Ooh.
I am a Tiny Habits certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach. And with me today is...
Donald Weigel, perplexed as to what the shape of origami is.
I know it. Well,
but hi, I am. I'll say the stuff so I don't make you mad. I am Donald Weigel. I am also a host of this show. I have lost about 100 pounds. I have kept it off for coming up on 6 years. We'll look forward and say coming up on 6 years, and I am here to talk about it. Hello.
You sure are. Hello. Yeah, sorry about the origami shape. Origami isn't really a shape, is it? It's more of a structure.
No, it's like a method of folding paper, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was started by people who didn't know where their Scotch tape was. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Yeah, you don't have to look that one up. That's what happened.
Are those little footballs that you make with paper and then you like flick them to your friends while you're at school and get in trouble?
Yeah, that's definitely real origami.
But how did you know how to do that? Did you ever do that?
I played with those things. I never could figure out how to make the actual football.
Triangle.
I had to rely on the kindness of other middle schoolers and elementary schoolers to make the actual triangle football for me.
You know, I've heard that they say that wisdom is that if you fold 1,000 of those football shapes, that you gain wisdom or something.
You attain enlightenment.
Yeah, attain enlightenment. Our daughter actually put an origami.
And a lot of paper cuts, probably.
Our daughter made an origami crane at one point. I think it is actually 1,000. You make 1,000 cranes and then you achieve enlightenment.
Is it? It's not those little
it's
footballs?
Not footballs?
It's not the footballs from school? Yeah.
No, it's not. Fine. The passive-aggressive episode of We Only Look Thin.
I had no idea that it was actually cranes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now we're approaching 300 episodes and you're finally getting the real Katherine and Donald. No more of this fancy, nice stuff. They love each other stuff.
Yeah, well, we do love each other very much. We've been married for over 25 years. We didn't say that at the beginning of the episode.
We did not, but it looks like we have, 999 cranes that we might want to start folding to keep our marriage together. Folding. But our daughter made an origami crane. I don't know how she knew how to do it.
Yeah, I don't either.
But she put it in my car visor in my old car.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, I guess I have a paper crane in my car now. And then magically my car died and I needed a new one. I'm not saying that that's why I needed a new car, but I also needed a new car.
But you're not saying
saying
it could have been the crane. Causation might it might be causation, not correlation.
It might be, but I may or may not have left the oil cap off of my. No, it was a Saturn, R.I.P. Saturn, but whatever.
But the car was like 15 years old.
Very old.
Yeah, 16 years old.
It was a great car.
Yeah.
But then I was like, haha, I'm getting a new car. And oops, like the crane disappeared. And our daughter was like, oh boy, now you can put it in your new car. And so 8 years later,
still there.
It is still there,
Yeah.
and I will never move it. But yeah, we're
now you're the crane. You're the paper crane lady.
I am, but
that's people point and call you that when you drive around.
Yeah, I imagine Daniel from Karate Kid.
Oh
actually.
yeah, like
So,
crane kicking.
crane kicking. But you
How many calories do you think a crane kick burns? Probably a lot.
Not enough. I don't actually think I don't even really think about how much calorie burn happens anymore. I live a healthy lifestyle.
That's just you all the time.
Yeah.
You're just crane kicking your way through
just crane
through
kicking.
life.
Yeah, no, maybe that's why my hips hurt a little bit. But
Exactly.
all those crane kicks I did as a teenager.
So let's move on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we've preambled and ambled, and last week was episode 298 of this show.
It was. That's bananas.
And it was called Know When to Hold 'Em.
It
and,
sure
and
was.
the focus of that was on things that are more important than you think they are. And it was based on the Kenny Rogers song, The Gambler. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to, and I've had that song stuck in my head now on repeat. Did you happen to know that they're
by Kenneth and Loggins?
Kenneth and Rogers.
Oh wait, I said Kenny.
Yeah, you said Kenneth and Loggins. It's Kenneth and Rogers. Now I can't say it. Did you know that there was a 1980 TV movie called The Gambler?
Yes.
That starred Kenny Rogers? I'm very tempted to now I want to say Loggins. I'm very tempted to go back and watch it, but like I happened to look it up to see if it was available on streaming. It is available on streaming.
Wow.
on
I
Amazon
bet it's
and Peacock.
great.
But the tagline for it is The Adventures of Brady Hawks, a gambler on his way to help his young son while also helping another gambler learn to play it right.
Oh.
It sounds amazing.
Wow. I remember when it came out. There was a like big like rhinestone cowboy.
Yeah.
Like gambler. It was like very in vogue to sort of be rootin' and tootin'.
Yeah, it sure was.
Back then.
Yeah.
So we learned last week that there is a yin and yang of balance in all of this. The knowing when to hold and the knowing when to fold. You cannot have the hold if you do not have the fold.
No, if the knowing of the holding does not exist without the knowing of the folding.
That's what the tagline should have been, but it's not. But
for those of you who might not know what we're talking about, go listen to the song "The Gambler" on Kenny Rogers.
We sang it to them last week as my karaoke situation that didn't go very well. But we know what to hold. But outside of the context of weight loss, do we know what to fold? Do we know what folds?
I mean, like laundry, perhaps.
Well, that's a good one.
You might, aren't you supposed to fold like cream or
fold in the cheese?
Fold in, or, like when you're cooking, you fold things in.
You fold things in.
And like when they make expensive samurai swords, like you fold the metal like hundreds of times.
Oh, they also fold the dough when they're making flaky croissants. I'll give a few more examples.
Okay.
Paper airplanes.
Oh yeah.
Right? That's like American
and origami. Yeah. Origami. Oh, I see. Yeah, like you're bringing it around.
New York style pizza.
Oh yeah.
Like I've heard
you're
people
supposed to fold it when you eat it.
Chicago deep dish now.
That
would burn your hands.
I don't know how you would fold a Chicago deep dish. It's like tearing a phone book in half. You'd have to be like one of those people that can like do that.
That would exactly. And then fitted sheets. Do you fold? I fold fitted sheets. I learned how one time.
No, I fold fitted sheets. Yeah.
Okay. And and tables and chairs, and also, you know what else folds?
No, what else folds?
Criminals under cross-examination.
It's true.
By Judd Nelson in the film From the Hip.
Oh, yeah.
They fold under pressure. Do you know what the tagline is for that movie? I know you brought up the tagline for The Gambler.
We independently both brought taglines
What was
from
your tagline?
Old movies.
I forget.
Mine was from The Gambler.
But what was the tagline?
Oh, well, it's a little bit long. But
give it to me.
It was It was The Adventures of Brady Hawks, a gambler on his way to help his young son while also helping another gambler learn to play
That
right.
is that's not brief. That's
No.
not a brevity. There's no guesswork.
No.
Because in From the Hip, it is it is about Judd Nelson. The Breakfast Club, Judd Nelson becomes a lawyer.
Yeah.
And that title is, or the tagline is, "Getting to the top means working like a dog."
Oh.
And he actually, in this picture, has a dog
he's got
bone
a dog bone in his mouth on the poster.
in his mouth.
Yeah.
Why? Like,
Yeah.
how did this pass for things? But could could they flip? And like, the gambler could be, to get to the top, you got to work like a dog.
Yeah, it could be, I suppose.
It could be, but where are we going, people? We're talking
Yeah,
about
I
things
wonder where
that
you're going also.
are folding. We're talking about things that are folding, and what we are folding today. Not the sheets, not the deep dish pizza.
Yeah.
But we are asking you to consider things that maybe you should fold.
Yeah.
Your habits, your behaviors.
When you draw
and your
this
thoughts.
metaphorical poker hand in your health and fitness,
From
you-
Judd Nelson.
you may think you should hold, but we think
Oh, no.
you should fold.
Au contraire. So last week we gave you things that maybe are more important. And this time we're going to give you things that are less important, and even a couple of things that you shouldn't even do at all. Like,
Yeah.
don't ever pick these up
Yeah, so just to re-say it in plain words
instead of the way I talk.
These last week were things that are probably more important than you think. This week are things that are probably less important than you think
Exactly.
in your health and fitness, and particularly weight loss journeys.
Yeah, so we're going to start out light, and then we're going to hit you hard at the end.
All right, so the first one is
Yes.
this is probably more important than you think, is going to the gym.
Yeah.
And this is a multi-level thing that people think. The first thing is, people will oftentimes like say, wow, I would really like to lose 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever it is. And they say, I just need to go to the gym and that will fix it. And the problem with that is that it's what you eat is exponentially more important than how much exercise that you're doing. And people think if they just add some exercise to their life without changing anything else about their lifestyles, that they can take the weight off. But as we've said for many, many years, we did an episode called this, you can't outrun a fork.
Yeah.
You can't burn more calories than than I can shovel in my pie hole.
I was going to quote Yoni Freedhoff, but you said it more effectively. Dr. Yoni Freedhoff said it takes less energy to not eat a calorie than it does to burn it off, because we think that to earn a Snickers bar, I just need to run for 30 minutes. There's no earning food, really. Exercise is great. And we're not saying don't do it. If you do it, if you go to the gym, amazing.
Definitely not saying don't go to the gym. If you are going to the gym and you like going to the gym and you can get gym workouts can help you get into great shape, but they are less important than you probably think. And another aspect of this is that people will say, I just can't get to the gym, so there's no way for me to actually lose weight or to get in shape. But you don't need to go to the gym. And you don't also need a personal trainer or expensive equipment. Like, I lost the 100 pounds and keep it off almost exclusively by walking and or using a $100 mini trampoline.
Yeah.
That's almost all I do. Now, occasionally I'll also walk up and down stairs. I'll do some a little bit of strength training here and there. But primarily it's just by moving myself more, and something we talked about last episode, which is NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is all of those calories you burn when you're not exercising, keeping yourself moving all day long. All of those things add up to being much more important than just going to the gym in the morning a few times a week, even 5-6 times a week for a half hour or an hour.
Yeah. And I know for me, when I was at my heaviest, and then even in this last time joint venture, I was really self-conscious about going to the gym because of my size and I didn't know what machines did what. And so for me, just walking in the neighborhood was how it started. I didn't actually join a gym until last year when I realized there was one near our daughter's school.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was convenient enough and inexpensive enough to be a nice supplement to the other activity that I get. So it is a nice thing to do. It's a good thing to add if you feel motivated and inspired by it. But if you feel like, oh my gosh, I've wasted money on gyms before, or I don't have the time or the energy or the finances to do it, then it doesn't need to be a part of your journey. So don't think of it as I either go to the gym or I do nothing. It's I don't go to the gym, yet I find ways in my life to make activity a priority.
And the last piece of this for me, I know Catherine just wrapped it up nicely, but the last piece of this for me,
but not for me,
is that I used to go to the gym because that's what I thought I had to do. And that was what I thought the only way I thought I could get in shape. And I hated it. I really hated. I hated the machines. I hated dealing with the people. I hated the people not wiping machines down. I hated the exercises themselves. It was just something I thought I had to suffer through to get it done. And I've realized that I can actually do movement that I enjoy. And maybe walking and mini trampolines aren't your thing, but maybe there are sports you can do, or ping pong, or horseshoes, or or beanbag tosses, or paddle ball. There, maybe there are other things. Maybe maybe it's yoga, and you don't even have to pay for a yoga class these days. There's plenty of great videos. There's Pilates videos on YouTube. There's yoga videos. There's, all kinds of home exercise things that you can do that cost next to nothing and that you can do in the comfort of your own home. And they're super convenient. You roll out of bed, you turn the TV on, and you start going. And you don't have to go through everything that I hated about going to the gym.
Exactly. So the next one on the list, which is a really, really big one, is that analysis paralysis that comes from finding the ideal plan, something that you think you can be 100% compliant on. Because when we do Weight Watchers, which is what I did for many years.
Yeah, me too.
On and off, I just said, I am Weight Watchers. I do Weight Watchers. I quote unquote work for Weight Watchers.
Right.
They tell me what to do, what to eat. I comply. And then if I don't comply, then I fire myself.
Right. And I identified as low carb Donnie. Yeah. That's how I introduced myself to everyone, low carb Donnie. No, I did Atkins back before it was called keto, and I identified as a person who did that, and I did it for a while. And then when I was trying to introduce bread and pasta back into my life, I didn't know who I was anymore. And I couldn't deal with.
Who am I?
Yeah, who am I? But my identity had been low carb guy, and then I couldn't work carbs back into my life, because eventually I wanted to eat them again.
Well, and we were even afraid to just eat strawberries.
Right.
There's so much. You'll be out of ketosis and whatever. And if that works for you, that is great. Now, there are people who thrive under structure, who really, lean into it. They have the emotional bandwidth, the financial bandwidth to really stick to something and feel really empowered and great by it. But if at any point you feel oh my gosh, this is too much, or I only get X number of points a day, or I don't, I can only have these or those sort of exclusionary things. If you feel like you are not worthy because you are not complying with a system, the system is there to serve you, not the other way around. And for me, getting away from, Donnie Weight Watchers or whatever, the more we have stepped back and customized our plans to meet our own needs, the better we have been. So think about a certain plan serving you for a particular season. For me, I used to do Weight Watchers and then I stopped. It was binary, on or off. Now I go, wow, I learned a lot of great things from Weight Watchers. I am going to take them with me to calorie tracking, and they're complementary. And the more we move away from thinking of ourselves branded as a plan, whether it's the app that you use or the fitness watch or the program that you follow, the more we take it internally to see that we are healthy people who focus on their goals instead of, I'm, Kathy calorie counter.
Right.
I'm, Wilhelmina Weight Watchers. Like,
Exactly.
Sorry, that's the only name. My grandmother was actually almost named Wilhelmina,
Wow.
but she wasn't. Isn't that fun?
That's almost a great story.
That's almost a great story. But I see people, and believe me, I've done this too, where we have maybe our handles for, is that what they call handles? Or
Yes,
yeah.
What's your
ats.
handle?
I'm making an at sign. Your at for something is, Kathy Weight Watchers. And that's everything that I say on Instagram, everything that I have on Facebook. And what if you stop doing Weight Watchers?
Right.
Then it's, oh no, I'm not part of the family anymore, and I've got to change my name, and how embarrassing that is. I get wanting to, bring other people to your page by what you do. But what if you switch plans? What if you realize something else is better? What if you have running in your, in your handle, and then suddenly you twist your ankle and you can't run? Does that mean that you're not a valid, fit person working on themselves? So I'm not telling, this isn't a class on how to name yourself online, but just remember,
but it could be.
I stopped running, but I'm still active. I stopped doing Weight Watchers, but now I track calories. And just think of that when you are looking for a plan. What can you take from it if you move on to something else? What other ideas can you bring into it that make it fit your plan more effectively? Because identity and just seeing yourself as an active person looking for solutions is in the long term, much stronger than identifying with one particular plan. So just watch out.
Yeah. And look, we are plan agnostic on the show. We are plan agnostic in Wolt Place. Whatever plan works for you is fine by us. But the more and more I read into it, the more and more the science shows that really it comes down to burning more calories than you eat. So it's calories in, calories out. And I use that as sort of the bedrock of my plan, but that then allows me to change the actual details of it based on the season of my life. I can adapt to different, if I'm, busier, less busy, I can add more things. I can take things away. I can add more convenience food, / cook more things from scratch, and I add more exercise, take exercise away. As long as I keep that baseline, I'm able to then, make my plan just individually for me and work for me in a way that adapts to how my life changes.
No, that's a super good point, especially with sort of the pumping up the volume that we learned from Weight Watchers. It's not like they've written us a strongly worded letter saying you may not add volume to your meals.
Yeah,
because
I learned calorie tracking, even though you don't technically count, track calories. Tracking my food and pumping up the volume were two invaluable things that I use every day that I got, from Weight Watchers. I got practice doing them by doing Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing that is probably less important than you think it is cooking from scratch / recipes. And people will all the time, and I see this on Reddit all the time, and people will ask us all the time, what are some low-calorie recipes that you recommend? Or, I can't lose weight because I just don't have time to cook. And no, I am living proof that you can do this with convenience food. And, we have a good friend, Nicole, who has done this by mostly eating fast food.
Yeah.
And she's lost a lot of weight and over 100 pounds, right?
She's lost in the neighborhood of 80 to 90.
90 pounds and has kept it off. And, mostly eating fast food. And I mostly eat convenience food, things that are pre-made at the store, frozen meals, frozen veggie burgers, all kinds of things that are, in air quotes, processed.
Heat and eat.
Yeah, heat and eat. Exactly. See? I like that. Heat and eat. And, it maybe in the long run, not as healthy as eating like whole vegetables, whole foods, whatever, but certainly doable in terms of calories and losing weight. And, I feel like I'm living proof of it.
Well, it's about meeting yourself where you are. And I know we talk about this a lot, but it still comes up for people who I know who have either been in Wilt Place for a really long time, or people ask us questions by sending us emails at weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yeah.
But the question of like, oh, well, I used to be able to make this all the time. I used to have time before I had kids. I cooked all the time. I did this, and now I can't. And we have this nostalgia for previous versions of ourselves. But meeting ourselves where we are is about really understanding the season that you're in, what your emotional bandwidth is, your physical bandwidth, and also like how much extra time you have and how much room you have in your refrigerator to do things. Because Donald and I have a battle royale. It's not like the Odd Couple with like the tape down the middle of the room of like the Odd Couple weren't in a room. But like it's not, but I kind of try to keep half a part of it for him and half for me, and then 90% of it is condiments, I think. But
I can't even do that math.
But I've started, just don't worry about it. It's fine.
Half for you, half for me, 90% condiments.
No, of the 10% left, that's the half I'm talking about. But like I've started like edging over into Donald's side. I put some rice over there. I'm going to put a lot of things in your space. But don't worry about recipes. Just like eat less of the things that you already like, and then maybe have some carrots.
Yeah, and when your wife starts putting stuff in your part of the fridge, just throw it away. It's fine. It's the secret to a happy marriage, trust me. And I just wanted to mention, sort of tangentially in relationship to this one, as sort of sub things that are probably less important than you think they are, water goals and counting macros.
Yeah.
Like people, like not that they're not important, but I have never counted a macro in my life. Like my app kind of does it for me, but I've never looked at it. And I've never set a water goal in my life. And I drink a lot of, in air quotes, non-water. Hydration I know is super important, but I get my hydration from other sources rather than drinking straight up water. And if you have a water goal and it makes you feel better and you enjoy it, then great. But in my experience, it's not 100% necessary to like drink 16, 8-ounce glasses of water every day in order to hit a weight loss and fitness goal.
Well, and this one too is about where you're starting, because a lot of times people will go from, I don't drink any water to, well, the internet says that twice my body weight times the mass of Jupiter is how much I need to drink. And it can be really overwhelming. And then you can start out feeling like a failure. Oh my gosh, everybody, all the experts say 120 ounces a day is what I need. But if you're only drinking like half a cup in the morning with your vitamins or your, antidepressant,
right,
that is a very big leap to take. So starting with a little more than you usually do, like, is fine, but it's also not critical. And again, with macros, that is a very high level fine tuning part of a weight loss journey. And if you're just starting out like I was 120 pounds ago, I didn't have a macro problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's, like what Catherine just said, that is expert level, like next level, like, you're a professional PhD, athlete, like level.
And there are people who really enjoy doing it. Again, we're not dissing that, but for us, it was way too overwhelming. And frankly, the times where I was paying extra care, if you get this much, yes, there are benefits to it. You can feel more, and I know Donald even said this on the last episode, you can feel more full by eating more protein. You can have more energy, make you feel good. Like Donald said, he tries to have protein at each meal, which is great. And I do too. But when you get down to that granular, like, don't have anything with less than 10 grams of,
I don't do that.
Which I actually got caught up in that at one point.
Yeah, that seems like, it would make me just not want to eat, or I would get paralyzed with, I don't know what to do because I don't have something that's enough protein right now in the house.
Yeah, I had something, I think I already said this. I don't know, I talk a lot. Like a yogurt that was 9 grams of protein. And I was like, well, I can't have that because it's not 10. Like 10 is the magic number that will get me into
right.
Macro nirvana, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
Sure. But If it is overwhelming to you, do not worry about it. If it helps you thrive and be successful, that's great. In the end, eating at a calorie deficit is important. Sure, some foods are more nutritionally valuable. Like they, studies show that they have lots of nutrients, which is fine. But if you're just starting out, reducing your calories is a priority over counting macros.
Absolutely. Okay, so what is the next thing, dear?
Ooh, this is probably my favorite one. And I can't wait to tell you what it is. And I'm going to do it now.
I can't wait to hear it.
Okay. Losing weight quickly and with a capital A-N-D or capital O-R. That's a lot of spelling on a podcast.
Yeah.
Trying to lose weight by a deadline. I did this for decades. Well, if I just lose 2 pounds a week by Christmas, I'll be at my goal weight. Oh my gosh, we are literally going to a birthday party in October. And there's a little tiny bit of me that's like, oh my gosh, if I could lose 10 pounds by that birthday party
and then show up and just look great, all these people haven't seen me in a while. Yeah.
I still think about it. And then I just look back and reflect and remember that every single time I have failed at that, every single time maybe I've been super on track for a couple of weeks, the progress is happening, and then I go off, or then I forgot we're going out of town, and then I fall behind, and then I feel defeated. And so then I say, why bother? And then I'll just start trying to lose weight again after the event, because why even bother? So suddenly, by setting an unrealistic deadline, can you tell how passionate I sound right now?
I can.
Trying to lose weight by a deadline and then passing it over and gaining more weight as revenge for not being able to stick to it. It is a fool's errand. I will say it again.
Yeah. And the other thing I get a lot is people who are sort of just starting out and will be like, I've been doing this for a month and I've only lost 2 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
And I just feel like giving up. And it's sort of like, okay, you've lost 2 pounds and you want to stop, and what? Gain the weight back? Keep gaining weight? Not ever lose it? What? Because it's just not coming off quickly enough. And let me tell you, 0.5 pound a week is great. If you can maintain that, it will eventually add up to a lot of pounds coming off. And it really, what are you giving up? This is like your whole life. You've got to make this a priority moving forward, or else it's just, it will never happen if you don't make a priority out of it.
No, I used to totally see it as oh my gosh, I worked so hard and I've only lost X amount. Part of this is about working things into your life that are actually doesn't make your life miserable. You're not hiding from events. You're not hiding at home all the time, not wanting to go out with anyone because you've got to, eat your morsel of food or whatever.
Right.
And for me, especially now, not seeing it as a deadline of oh, you know what? I was able to go out with friends and we had a movie night and I lost 0.5 pound. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
But oftentimes we feel in order to appear serious about our weight loss, we have to go to extreme measures. One is penance for the weight that we've gained, and 2, to prove to the people around us that we are really fired up and that we're making it happen. By saying oh, I lost 0.5 pound. It doesn't sound dynamic.
Right.
It doesn't have that big ticket feel to it. But how long have we been doing this podcast?
Yeah, almost 6 years. No. Almost 6 years.
So if anybody listening to this podcast, including myself, lost 0.5 pound, even in the last year per week?
Yeah.
Not too shabby, my friends.
No, that's a crazy amount of weight. Yeah.
A pound a month for 6 years? That's a few pounds. That wouldn't be a bad thing, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah. Even a pound a month for 5-6 years. It is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep.
Okay, so the next thing that is probably less important than you think it is perfection.
Yep. Actually, I would say dangerous.
Yes.
Achtung.
Agreed.
Do not.
Trying to be perfect, trying to like never having a bad day in air quotes, never eating an unplanned treat, never skipping exercise, like always sticking to everything that, you know, all of your goals, never missing a habit. It is far less important than you think it is. And as Catherine said, you know, if you try to hold yourself to that standard for the rest of your life, eventually you are going to throw up your hands and go, well, if I can't be perfect, I might as well do nothing at all.
Do you know that there is a plan called 75 Hard? Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
There is a plan called 75.
It's got hard in the title. I probably don't want to do it.
Well, and there's also one that's like 75 semi-cushy also.
Is there?
I can't remember exactly what it's called.
Yeah.
But and again, this is for maybe people who need those extreme thrills of, you know, austere programs.
Yeah.
But on the 75 Hard, there's like 5 things you're supposed to do each day. And if you miss even one of them, you have to start the program over from day one.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
That's
not
terrible.
kidding. And one of them is like journal your thoughts or so, like it. And I honestly don't remember all the things that it is, but it's like follow a plan, get in 30 minutes of activity and 30 minutes of cardio, whatever. And it's like, if you miss any of it, go back to square one.
Yeah.
And this isn't a game. This isn't like Chutes and Ladders or Candyland or, you know, just something extreme like Candyland, where you fall down a ladder and go back to the beginning, you know, do not pass go.
That's Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah. Oh. But
what's that game that has the chutes and the ladders?
I think they call it Snakes and something.
Oh yeah,
in
it
the
is.
UK.
It's ladders and snakes or something in snakes. I can't remember.
If you know, let us know. We do have listeners in the UK. Thank you very much. But it's going for that. You have to start completely over if you miss something is just procrastination. We actually did an episode called Perfection is Procrastination. When we wait for the ideal conditions, the ideal time of our lives, after the project is over, once the vacation is over, once the, you know, holiday season, whatever it is, there's always going to be something working against our ultimate perfection goals. But what we have done is I literally every week look at the week ahead. What can I expect of myself? What is the weather going to be like? What meetings do I have? We've got someone coming to visit next week. We're going out of town the week after that. And do I just say, oh, well, not a good time to, you know, pay the bills this month.
Right.
Like, oh, we've got too much going on. We adapt and we modify and we set expectations based on real life. This, like the summer, I maintained my weight. That was my goal with vacations and people visiting. And it worked. I did it.
Yeah, no, and like that is a huge victory at a lot of times.
It was. But now in October, well, when October comes around, we don't have that much going on. We've got that party that I was going to lose 10 pounds for, but like that's not going to happen. But I have one day out of the month where we're traveling.
Right.
So like I can make things happen. So don't look at perfection, look at progress. It makes so much more sense.
And I managed to look it up. It is Snakes and Ladders.
Oh, it is Snakes and Ladders.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not called Spiders and Ladders because I wouldn't. If it was Spiders and Ladders,
Spiders and Ladders would not be good. Yeah.
See, because I don't like the spiders and he doesn't like the snakes.
Yeah, I don't want snakes or spiders on my ladder. Either way.
No.
Yeah.
Slides are better.
Either
So
way.
okay, so we're gonna finish this up with maybe the number one.
Yeah. Number one.
The number one doozy. You said we weren't doing numbers. We weren't numbering them. But I just said it was maybe the number one. So the mostest.
I decided to do the Casey Kasem voice briefly.
I am here for it.
No, it's called improv.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was supposed to yes and you.
Yeah. So the number one thing that is less important than you think is
motivation. Sorry, I thought you were giving me a look like we were going to pump up the volume. The number one is
pump up motivation.
Oh my gosh, we're going to make it to 300 episodes. We're going to say it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Motivation.
You don't need it. It is fickle. It is unimportant. It is unreliable.
More importantly, it's really a myth.
Yeah.
Like there's that idea in society that, you're just not motivated. If you wanted it bad enough,
oh my gosh,
you
I
would make it
like
happen.
that.
And that is it's a fallacy. That's been, it was pounded into me from the time I was a kid. Like, you've got to dig deep and find that motivation and make it happen.
Well, even, if you really want it, this is going to come down to who wants it the most.
Right.
And then suddenly, okay, I obviously I don't have whatever gene that is for motivation.
Right.
It is unreliable. It is amazing when you have it. Oh my gosh, we're not saying when you don't have it.
Take advantage of it when it comes along.
Go the extra mile when you're feeling motivated. Do the things, chop the vegetables, go on the run, go on the hike, but understand that it might not be there tomorrow. Like a traveler, like Kenny Rogers coming into town.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to roll out of town
trying to set young gamblers straight while helping his young son.
I almost said humbleweed instead of tumbleweed. Like a tumbleweed in the wind blowing away. You don't know where it is in the morning. There's not even a Post-it note on the mirror to say goodbye forever.
Goodbye, motivation.
But when it's there, have a blast. It's a fling. It's great. But don't rely on it for progress. We make progress by pedaling the bike ourselves or pushing the tumbleweed back into town.
Yeah.
Make our own tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
There's something in there.
There's a metaphor there somewhere.
Okay. No, the motivation is you got the motivation. You're going downhill on a bicycle. You're going all fast. It's great. But then you hit the flats, the mean rascal flats. The flat badlands, and then you have to pedal yourself.
You have to keep pedaling. And what that turns into practically is you have to make your health and fitness a priority, and you have to create habits and systems that just become mostly automatic, that you just do regardless of how motivated you feel about it. You have systems in place for your meals, your shopping, your exercise, your calorie counting, your, all your other habits, whatever exercise, strength training you're doing, you have systems in place, and you practice doing these systems and habits so that they just become second nature and you just keep doing them.
Yep. And you do them into maintenance.
Yeah.
We keep doing it. There is no before and after. There is a before and there is a now.
Right.
And the more adaptable we are to our current circumstances, and the more we see all of this as basically the questions, what is serving me and building me up, and what is holding me back? Those are really the defining points of any plan. And when we started out, we kept it simple. Over the years, circumstances have changed. We've adapted. But what we haven't lost sight of is the end goal, which is our own health, like our own health and wellness. We do different plans. We work out differently. We have different goals, but we're in it together, and we are in it together with you. We want to make sure that all of our listeners are making progress in ways that build them up, make them feel good, and make them feel like they're not alone in all of this. It
Absolutely.
can be so overwhelming to just feel like you don't have anyone in your corner. And I just really hope that you feel like, even though I don't know if it's Kenny Rogers or Loggins in your corner, but we are here for you. And there's no gamble in that. I don't know.
That's the only sure thing.
Gamble that you have.
Thank you so much for being part of our show. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for keeping the habit going of listening to this show. We are grateful for each and every one of you. All of our episodes, every one of them. This is episode 299. Next one is 300. We still don't know what we're doing for next episode, but it's going to be special.
It's going to be a very special episode.
It's going to be an episode of this show. That I can guarantee. That will be next week. But all of them, all 299 of them, as you listen to this, are available wherever you found this podcast, and also anytime on our website at weonlylookthin.com.
And if you're at our website, click on that link for Join Our Support Group to find out more about Wolt Place. We Only Look Thin Place is a Facebook-based accountability group for women. We are not a weight loss plan, but we are a place to come together and work on our common goals, whether you are intermittent fasting, calorie tracking, counting macros. We do it all there, and we're there to support one another. We have subgroups for additional check-ins. We've got evening and daytime check-ins. We've got Zoom meetings, just so much going on in the group. I'm so proud of it. It is a safe space to work on yourself while you're becoming who you want to be, and for a limited time only.
Yeah, jump on it.
As we said at the top of the episode, I have partnered with Lose It to write the first of its kind course for Lose It called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Weight.
Yeah, Lose It was looking around for the best person on planet Earth to help write a course about mindset, and they found her.
Yes.
And that is Catherine Weigel right here.
It is me. So I co-wrote the course with a couple of other amazing women, and that course just came out on Lose It. It is a premium course, but for a limited time, if you join Wolt Place by the end of October 2023, you will receive this course for no additional cost as a gift from our friends at Lose It. So check it out. We've got 2 membership options, a monthly subscription with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if Wolt Place is right for you.
So check it out. And you get like unprecedented access to Catherine Weigel at Wolt Place. And like, I know personally, and I know it's, you know, because I'm her husband, I'm like more than a little bit biased, but having access to Catherine is invaluable in really keeping this going. So, and also like people in that group, as Catherine alluded to, like if you're going through it, they've probably gone through it too. And people really can help and support each other in the group. So please check it out.
Yep.
Also, if you'd like to interact with us in other ways, you can find us on social media. We are at We Only Look Thin on Facebook and Instagram, or you can send us an email, which was mentioned earlier in the show. We appreciate episode suggestions. We appreciate compliments. We will answer questions. If you have an idea, if you have a question for the show, maybe we will turn your email into an episode of the show. We have done that many times in the past, and you can do that by reaching out to weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
And thanks to all of the listeners who have already left us reviews. We have over 600 5-star reviews now, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
So really, thank you so much. And to the members of Lose It who have given us shout outs, and to all of the people who have only recently found the podcast, thank you so much for taking a moment to let us know how you are enjoying the podcast. So thank you so much. Not only does it let us know that what we're doing matters, but it also helps other people just like you find our podcast when they're looking for inspirational, maybe poker-themed podcasts.
That's right.
Weight loss like ours. So, yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. And if you could do us a favor and tell somebody about the show, that really helps us out. Word of mouth is really one of the best ways in which the show grows. Your friends and family trust your opinions. And when you tell them you like our podcast, they listen. Or if you're on an online group, a Reddit group, a Discord server, a Facebook group, something like that, if it is appropriate, please give us a shout out. That really, really does help us out, and we would be grateful.
Yep.
So if we have now confused you as to the difference between Kenny Rogers, Kenny Loggins, and Judd Nelson, just remember that Catherine and I are an inspiration. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.